Okay, let me just start by saying it was literally a joke. A joke. Joke. People joke about aging all the time. Every single day on social media, on TV, in movies, in stand-up comedy specials, in group chats, in casual conversations at coffee shops, people make jokes about getting older. I wasn't calling him unattractive. Not really. Not directly. I was being playful, teasing, the kind of affectionate ribbing that couples do when they're comfortable with each other, when they've been together long enough to laugh about the realities of life and aging, and all the ways our bodies betray us as we get older. If anything, I was being honest in a light-hearted way, which is supposedly what you're supposed to do in relationships, right? Be authentic. Be real. Don't pretend everything is perfect. Don't live in some fantasy where nobody ever ages or changes or develops wrinkles and grey hair and all the other things that happen to human beings over time. He's too sensitive. Always has been, actually. Now that I think about it, now that I'm really analysing our relationship history, he takes everything personally. Every little comment, every tiny observation, every joke that's even slightly at his expense becomes this huge deal in his mind. If he looked like a banana, and I'm not saying he does, not exactly, but if certain features have gotten a bit softer, a bit more yellowed around the edges, a bit bruised by time and stress and age, that's not my fault. I didn't age him. Time did. Biology did. Genetics did. His refusal to use the expensive skincare products I bought him for his birthday last year did. His insistence on staying up until 2 a.m. watching YouTube videos instead of getting proper sleep did. His diet of pizza and beer and stadium nachos did. I didn't expect him to take one comment. Okay, maybe it wasn't just one comment. Maybe there have been several over the past few months, but still, and destroy our whole night, our whole evening, ruin all our plans. We were supposed to go to dinner with our friends Marcus and Jennifer. I'd spent an hour and a half doing my makeup, carefully applying foundation and contouring and highlighting, making sure my eyeliner was perfect. I'd picked out the perfect dress, the emerald green wrap dress that I bought specifically for occasions like this, that cost me way more than I wanted to admit on the credit card. I'd done my hair in loose waves that took 40 minutes with the curling iron, and he just imploded over fruit. Over a fruit comparison, over bananas, and now I'm saying all of this while standing on the sidewalk outside our house, the house we bought together 3 years ago, the house both our names are on the mortgage for, the house I have every legal and moral right to be inside of. Holding a grocery bag full of fruit he literally shoved into my arms like I'm some kind of door-to-door produce salesperson or a street vendor who's lost her cart. Bananas, apples, a single lemon, like some kind of bitter punctuation mark to his little theatrical performance. As if mocking my own words. As if turning my joke back on me in the cruelest way possible. As if I'm supposed to feel bad about being clever, about having a sense of humor, about not pretending that time stands still for everyone, and we all look 25 forever. I mutter to myself, standing there in my heels on the concrete sidewalk, the cold seeping through the thin soles. Overreacting, completely overreacting, absolutely insane overreaction. This is genuinely unhinged behavior. A car drives past slowly, the driver obviously staring at me, a woman in a cocktail dress holding groceries on the sidewalk at dusk. And I want to scream at them to mind their own business. Before I tell you this whole ridiculous, absurd story about how I ended up here, let me just say, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching this, and hit that hype button to boost this episode, because clearly, I need some validation that I'm not crazy here, that I'm not the villain in this situation. Drop a comment below with your city or country. I'm always curious where viewers are joining from, and I could really use some support from people who understand that humor exists in relationships, that couples tease each other, that not everything has to be taken so seriously. Let me back up and tell you exactly how this absurd situation started, step by step, moment by moment, because the way he's probably telling it to his friends right now, and I know he's texting people, I know he's spinning this his way. I sound like some kind of monster who just attacks him unprovoked, who wakes up every morning looking for ways to hurt him. We're getting ready for dinner with friends. Marcus and Jennifer, a couple we've known for about 4 years now, who we see maybe once a month for these dinner outings that are supposed to be fun and relaxing and a break from our normal routine. They'd made reservations weeks ago at this new Italian place downtown that everyone's been talking about, that supposedly has the best handmade pasta in the city, that has a 6-week wait list unless you know someone. Jennifer pulled some strings to get us in. I was actually excited about it, looking forward to it. Had been thinking about what I'd order all week. I'd bought a new dress specifically for tonight, a deep emerald green wrap dress from Nordstrom that cost more than I wanted to admit, but looked absolutely amazing on me. Hugged my curves in all the right places, made my waist look tiny, made my legs look longer. I'd gotten my nails done yesterday, a deep burgundy gel manicure that cost $60 but would last 3 weeks. I was doing my makeup at the bathroom mirror, taking my time because I wanted to look good, wanted to feel confident, wanted to post a photo on Instagram later and have people comment about how great we looked as a couple. He's in the bedroom adjacent to the bathroom, adjusting his collar in the mirror, putting on the same button-down shirt he always wears to these things, the blue one that I've told him 1,000 times, literally 1,000 times I've lost count, is getting a bit worn around the cuffs, starting to fray at the edges, looking a little tired. But does he listen? Does he ever buy himself new clothes? Does he ever update his wardrobe or try something different? No. He just keeps wearing the same things from 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, like he's frozen in time, like aging and updating your wardrobe and keeping up with your appearance aren't things that normal people do when they're in a relationship and want to look good for their partner. I'm looking at him in the mirror while I'm blending my eyeshadow. I can see him reflected behind me, fussing with his collar that never sits quite right because the shirt is stretched out and old, and I notice things. Things I've been noticing more and more lately, but haven't really said much about. The way the light hits his face and shows every line, every wrinkle, every crease. The way his skin has this kind of sallow, tired quality lately, like he's not drinking enough water, or getting enough sleep, or taking care of himself. The way the lines around his mouth have deepened into these permanent grooves. The way his jaw isn't as defined as it used to be. How there's this softness under his chin that wasn't there when we met. The way his hair is thinning at the crown. How you can see scalp when the light hits it a certain way. And look, I'm not saying he's ugly. I'm not saying I'm not attracted to him anymore. I mean, I am, mostly, when I don't think about it too much. But facts are facts. Time changes people. Biology is biology. And it's changed him more than it's changed me, if we're being completely honest here. Because I actually take care of myself. I have a skincare routine. I exercise 4 times a week. I watch what I eat most of the time. I get regular facials and chemical peels. And I take my vitamins. And I stay hydrated. And I actually put in effort to maintain my appearance. Because I think that's what you do when you're in a relationship, when you want your partner to still find you attractive. So I'm looking at him in the mirror while I'm doing my makeup, and I'm thinking about how he used to look. How he looked when we first started dating 6 years ago. How his face was sharper, firmer, more defined. How his eyes were brighter. How he had this energy, this vitality that seems to have faded. And I'm thinking about that saying, that expression people use about aging gracefully. Some men age like wine. I've heard women say it about their husbands, about actors, about men they find attractive. This idea that some men get better with age, more distinguished, more refined, like a fine wine that develops complexity and depth. And then I look at him, really look at him, and I think, but not him, not my husband. He's not aging like wine. He's aging like produce, like something that's past its prime, something that's gotten softer and mushier with time instead of better. So I look at him in the mirror and I laugh. Not a mean laugh. I swear it's not a mean laugh, just a light, playful, affectionate laugh. And I say, almost without thinking, the words just tumbling out, "You know, some men age like wine, but you're aging like an old banana." I'm smiling when I say it, grinning actually, because I think it's funny. It's a funny image, right? Wine getting better with age, becoming more complex and refined and valuable, versus a banana that just gets mushier and browner and develops all these spots and eventually turns completely black. It's absurd. It's silly. It's the kind of comparison that's supposed to make both of us laugh at the ridiculousness of aging, at the cosmic joke that we're all slowly falling apart and there's nothing we can do about it, so we might as well find humor in it. I expect him to laugh, maybe chuckle, maybe roll his eyes affectionately and say something back like, "Well, you're aging like milk," or "At least I'm not a prune," or make some other fruit comparison back at me in that playful banter way couples do. That's how we usually are with each other. We tease, we joke, we're playful. We don't take things too seriously. He doesn't laugh, he doesn't smile, he doesn't even smirk or shake his head or acknowledge the joke in any way. He just freezes, completely freezes. His hands stop mid-motion on his collar. His entire body goes rigid. Then he slowly, very, very slowly turns to face me, turns away from his mirror and looks directly at me with this expression I've never seen before in 6 years together. Completely flat, blank, like I've just told him something devastating instead of making a harmless joke. Like I've just informed him of a death in the family, or confessed to an affair, or told him I want a divorce. "An old banana," he says, his voice quiet, too quiet. That dangerous kind of quiet that's somehow worse than yelling. I shrug, still smiling because I think he's just processing the joke, that any second now he'll get it and laugh and we can move on. "It's just a joke. Come on, relax. Don't be so sensitive about everything." He nods once. Just one single nod, very slow, very deliberate, his jaw tight. Then he walks out of the bedroom without another word, without looking at me again, without saying anything else. Just turns and walks out, his footsteps heavy and purposeful, and I hear him going down the hallway, hear his feet on the stairs. I roll my eyes at my reflection in the mirror, going back to my mascara, waving my hand dismissively. He can't take humor, seriously can't take a simple joke. So sensitive. I assume he's just being moody, that he's in one of his occasional bad moods, that he'll get over it in 5 minutes, like he usually does when something bothers him. He'll go downstairs, pour himself a glass of water, take some deep breaths, and come back up ready to leave. That's the pattern. That's how he handles things. He removes himself, cools down, comes back. I don't realize yet what he's about to do. I don't realize that something has fundamentally shifted, that some line has been crossed that I didn't even know existed, that this isn't just another minor marital spat that will blow over before we get to the restaurant. I just keep doing my makeup, humming to myself, thinking about the pasta I'm going to order at dinner. Maybe the lobster ravioli. Or should I get the truffle carbonara? Such tough decisions. Okay, so here's what you need to understand before you judge me, before you side with him like everyone always automatically sides with the man in these situations, before you make me out to be some villain. I wasn't insulting him. Not really. Not in any meaningful, hurtful way. I was teasing him because I love him. That's what people do when they love each other. They're comfortable enough to joke about things, to be real about things, to not have to pretend everything is perfect all the time. If I didn't care about him, if I didn't love him, I wouldn't say anything at all. I'd just let him walk around looking tired and aging poorly, and developing wrinkles and losing hair, and not even try to motivate him to take better care of himself, to invest in his appearance, to make an effort. And another thing, he jokes about my aging too, all the time, constantly. It's fair, it's equal, It's reciprocal. Just last month, he made a comment about my smile lines getting deeper, said I looked tired more often, asked if I wanted to start doing couples yoga together because we're not getting any younger. He pointed out a grey hair last week, literally reached over while we were watching TV and plucked it from my head and showed it to me like it was this shocking discovery, this evidence of my mortality. He said, "Wow, you're really going grey early, huh?" And did I freak out? Did I kick him out of the house? Did I stage some elaborate revenge scenario? No. I laughed it off. I said, "Yeah, thanks for noticing," and I went and made an appointment to get my hair coloured. I handled it like an adult. So if he can make observations about my aging, point out my grey hairs and wrinkles and tired eyes, why can't I make observations about his? Why is it only okay when he does it? Why do I have to walk on eggshells while he gets to comment freely on my appearance? Why is there this double standard where men can point out women's flaws, but women have to stay silent about men's? That's not equality. That's not partnership. I didn't mean he looked rotten or anything. Just bruised. A little. Spotted. Like a banana that's been sitting in the fruit bowl for a few days too long. That's gotten those little brown spots that appear when it's past peak freshness. Still technically edible. Still functional. Still fine for most purposes. Just not as fresh and firm and yellow as it used to be. And is that not accurate? Is it my fault that it's accurate? Should I lie? Should I pretend he looks exactly the same as he did when we met, when he clearly doesn't? But here's what I'm not telling people. What I'm leaving out when I tell this story to my friends who are all texting me right now asking what happened, why I'm not at dinner, where I am, what's going on. I didn't just make the joke tonight. This wasn't a one-time thing. This wasn't the first time the banana comparison came up. Maybe I made the joke in front of my sister Rachel last week when we were at Mum's house for Sunday dinner, and he was in the other room helping Dad with something, and she laughed, and it felt good to have someone validate my observation, someone agree with me that yes, he's not aging as well as he could be. Maybe I mentioned it to my best friend Hannah on the phone 2 weeks ago, said something like, "I swear he's aging in dog years." And she said, "Girl, I know what you mean. Men just give up after 35. They stop trying." And we both laughed about it, about how men let themselves go, while women are expected to maintain their appearance forever. Maybe I posted a TikTok about it that I deleted after an hour, because I got nervous, because I started feeling guilty. Something about, when your man used to be a snack, but now he's expired produce, with a sad face emoji and a banana emoji, and it got like 200 likes before I panicked and took it down, before I worried he might see it, or one of his friends might see it. Maybe I said something similar at my family dinner last month, made some joke about him going soft while we were all sitting around the table eating dessert, and people laughed nervously, and he didn't say anything at the time, just kept eating his pie in silence, but I saw his jaw tighten, saw the way he stopped making eye contact with anyone. Maybe I've said things to our mutual friends Kelsey and Tom, made comments about how he's letting himself go, or doesn't take care of himself like he used to. And they laughed awkwardly and changed the subject. And that people laughed. They did. Multiple people. Multiple times. So clearly I'm not the only one who noticed. Clearly I'm not crazy or cruel or exaggerating or whatever he's going to try to make this about. Other people see it too. Other people agree with me. I'm just the only one honest enough to say it out loud, to his face, to not hide behind fake politeness and pretend everything is fine. I thought he didn't notice, or I thought he didn't care, or I thought he understood it was just jokes, just observations, just the way people talk about their partners when they're being real and not putting on some fake perfect couple performance for social media. But he noticed. He noticed all of it. Every comment, every joke, every TikTok, every conversation I thought was private. And apparently, he's been keeping track. Apparently, he's been cataloguing every slight, every insult, every comparison. Apparently, he cared a lot more than I realized, more than he ever let on, more than he communicated to me like an adult should. Here's the thing that should have tipped me off that something was wrong, that something had fundamentally shifted in a way I didn't understand yet, that this wasn't going to be a normal argument we could resolve before dinner. Instead of yelling at me, instead of coming back into the bathroom and confronting me, instead of telling me I'd hurt his feelings or crossed a line, or that we needed to talk about this, he just cleans up the kitchen. I can hear him out there from the bathroom where I'm finishing my makeup, putting on my lipstick, checking my hair one more time. I hear the water running, hear the clinking of dishes, hear the sound of him wiping down the counters, which he never, ever does, without being asked, without me nagging him about it. We were supposed to leave for dinner in 20 minutes. Why is he cleaning? Why is he doing dishes? We don't have time for this. I don't think much of it at first. I figure he's just nervous cleaning, doing that thing he does when he's anxious or stressed or trying to process his emotions. Or maybe he's trying to calm down, or whatever coping mechanism he's using to deal with his hurt feelings about a joke that wasn't even that mean. Then I hear the refrigerator open, hear him moving things around in there, plastic bags crinkling, containers shifting, the door staying open for a long time. Then I hear the front door open and close, hear his keys jingling, hear his car start in the driveway. I poke my head out of the bathroom, calling down the stairs. "Babe, where are you going? We need to leave soon. We're going to be late." No answer. He's already gone. The house is silent except for the sound of his car pulling out of the driveway. I shrug and go back to my makeup, figuring he's running out to get gas or check something in the car or one of the dozens of little tasks he always remembers at the last minute. Maybe he realized he forgot to buy wine to bring to dinner, even though I told him Jennifer said we didn't need to bring anything. He does this sometimes, has these last-minute anxiety-driven errands. I finish my makeup. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. My skin looks flawless. My eyes look huge. My lips look full and perfectly lined. I take a selfie for Instagram, not posting it yet, just saving it for later. 15 minutes later, I hear his car pull back into the driveway. Hear the engine cut off. Hear the car door slam. Hear the trunk open and close. Multiple times, actually, like he's taking multiple trips. What did he buy? How much stuff did he get? I hear the front door open. I hear the rustling of bags. Multiple bags. Heavy ones from the sound of it, the paper crinkling and plastic rustling. More than one trip's worth. A lot of stuff. I call out from upstairs. "Did you get snacks for later? Babe, we're literally about to go eat. We don't need snacks." Still no answer. Just more rustling. More footsteps. More activity downstairs that I can't quite identify. I hear him in the kitchen. Hear him unpacking things. Lots of things. The rustle of plastic and paper. Items being set down on the counter with soft thuds and harder thumps. Something rolling. Something heavy being placed. This goes on for several minutes. What is he doing? What could possibly require this much preparation? I'm still in the bathroom, putting on my earrings, the gold hoops that go with the dress, checking my teeth for lipstick, spritzing on perfume, doing all those final little touches that make an outfit complete. Thinking about appetizers and whether we should split a bottle of wine at dinner, or maybe get our own glasses, or maybe just stick to water since he's driving. I have no idea what's happening in that kitchen. No idea what he's preparing. No idea that my entire evening is about to derail in the most bizarre, humiliating, surreal way possible. I finish getting ready, do one final check in the full-length mirror. I look good, really good, better than I've looked in months. The dress is perfect, my hair is behaving, my skin looks dewy and glowing, my body looks great. And I grab my clutch and walk out of the bedroom, ready to go, ready to have a nice evening with friends, ready to put this stupid banana joke behind us. Okay, I'm ready. We should probably leave now if we want to make it on time. You know how parking is downtown on Saturday nights? We might have to... I stop mid-sentence, mid-step, mid-thought. I'm frozen in the doorway between the hallway and the dining room. When I walk into the dining room, my husband is standing there at the head of the table waiting for me, arms crossed, face blank, just standing there like he's been waiting for this moment, like he's been preparing for my entrance. Our dining room table, the nice wooden one we picked out together when we moved into this house 3 years ago. The solid oak table that cost us $1,500 that we carefully selected at that furniture store after looking at dozens of options, the one we use for holidays and special dinners and hosting friends, is completely covered with bananas. Not just a few bananas, not a bunch, a pile of bananas, a mountain of bananas. An absurd, almost comical quantity of bananas covering the entire surface of the table. Some are perfectly fresh, bright yellow with just a hint of green at the stems, no spots whatsoever. The kind you see in grocery store ads and produce displays, the kind that look almost artificial in their perfection. Some are regular ripe, pure yellow, ready to eat, the peak moment of banananess. Some are starting to get brown spots, those little freckles that appear when they're getting sweeter, softer, moving past their prime but still perfectly edible. Some are heavily spotted, more brown than yellow, that stage where most people throw them away or save them for banana bread if they're ambitious enough to bake. Some are nearly black, completely overripe, the peel splitting open in places, soft and mushy, the kind you definitely throw away, the kind that attracts fruit flies. He's arranged them in this gradient, this perfect spectrum, from fresh to rotten, from bright yellow to dark brown to black, like some kind of sick art installation, some kind of produce-based, passive-aggressive statement, some kind of visual representation of decay that I don't understand yet, but that makes my stomach clench with anxiety. There must be 40 bananas here, 50, maybe more. I can't even count them all. How much did he spend on this? How long was he at the store? How many trips did he make to carry all of these inside? He's standing at the head of the table, still in that blue shirt with the worn cuffs, arms crossed over his chest, face still completely blank, emotionless, and he gestures to the banana display with one hand, like a game show host revealing a prize, like Vanna White turning letters, like a museum guide presenting an exhibit. "You said I age like an old banana," he says, his voice calm, measured, almost polite, which somehow makes it more terrifying than if he were yelling. "Pick the one that reminds you of me. Go ahead. I want to know exactly which stage of decay you think I'm at." I stare at the table, at the bananas, at him, at the bananas again. My brain is trying to process what I'm seeing, trying to understand what's happening, trying to catch up to this surreal reality. I must be misunderstanding. This must be a joke. A counter-joke. He's trying to be funny now, trying to match my humor, trying to play along, trying to lighten the mood in his own weird way. Any second now, he's going to laugh, and we're going to laugh together, and we'll take a picture of this ridiculous banana display and post it on Instagram with some funny caption, and we'll tell Marcus and Jennifer about it at dinner, and everyone will laugh. I laugh awkwardly, uncertainly, the sound coming out too high, too nervous. "Babe? Seriously, what is this? This is... what? We're going to be late for dinner. Like, really late. We need to leave right now." He doesn't smile, doesn't laugh, doesn't break character, just keeps staring at me with that blank expression that's somehow more terrifying than if he were angry, that's somehow more disturbing than if he were yelling or crying or showing any emotion at all. He reaches under the table. When did he put something under the table? And pulls out a grocery bag, one of those brown paper ones from Whole Foods with the handles. He holds it out to me, extending his arm, offering it like a gift. "Here, for your journey." I take the bag automatically, my hands moving before my brain can catch up, confusion overwhelming everything else. I look inside. There are more bananas, 3 more bananas, And apples, maybe 4 or 5 apples, red and green, and a single lemon sitting at the bottom, like a little yellow insult, like a final punctuation mark. What journey? I say, my voice getting higher, that nervous laugh still escaping even though nothing about this is funny anymore. What are you talking about? What journey? We're going to dinner. That's the journey. Downtown. The Italian place. Marcus and Jennifer are waiting. The one where you go find someone fresh. He says the word fresh with air quotes, with his fingers making quotation marks in the air, with this bitter, sarcastic emphasis that makes the word sound dirty, makes it sound like an insult. Since I'm apparently spoiled, since I'm rotting, since I'm past my expiration date, since I'm bruised and spotted and mushy and brown, since I'm an old banana, and old bananas get thrown away, don't they? My stomach drops. This isn't a joke. This isn't playing along. This is something else entirely. Then he walks past me, walks around the banana-covered table, walks to the front door of our house, and opens it wide. The evening air drifts in, cool and jarring. I can hear neighbors outside, someone mowing their lawn even though it's almost dark. Kids playing down the street, a dog barking, the normal sounds of Saturday evening in the suburbs that feel completely wrong in this moment. He stands there holding the door open with one hand, looking at me expectantly, waiting, like he's a doorman or a butler, or someone showing an unwanted guest out. That's when I realize he's serious. He's actually serious. This isn't a joke. This isn't some elaborate setup for a punchline. This isn't a bit we're doing together. He's kicking me out. He's actually, genuinely, literally kicking me out of our house. I try to backtrack immediately, my brain finally catching up to what's happening, panic starting to rise in my chest like water filling my lungs, making it hard to breathe. It was a joke, babe, it was a joke. You know I was joking. I didn't mean anything by it. It was just a silly comparison. He doesn't move from the door, doesn't close it, doesn't say anything. Just stands there like a sentinel, like a statue, like he's made of stone. You're acting insane, I say, my voice getting louder, more desperate, more shrill. This is insane. This is crazy person behavior. You bought bananas. You went to the store and bought 40 bananas to make some kind of point. You're having a breakdown over a joke, over one comment. Do you hear yourself? Do you see what you're doing? Still nothing. Just that infuriating calm. That blank face. That steady gaze. You always exaggerate. I'm almost shouting now, the grocery bag crinkling in my hand as I gesture wildly. You take everything so personally. You can't just laugh at yourself for 1 second. You can't take one tiny bit of criticism. You're so sensitive. You're so fragile. It's exhausting. He finally speaks again, his voice still quiet, but there's something underneath it now, something sharp and hard. You want wine? Go find wine. Go find a man who ages like expensive wine instead of cheap produce. I'm sure there are plenty out there waiting for someone as charming as you. Someone as kind. Someone who builds up their partner instead of tearing them down. I stare at him, my mouth opening and closing like a fish, trying to find words, trying to find some argument that will make this stop. You're kicking me out over fruit. It sounds absurd even as I say it, the words ridiculous in the air. You're kicking me out of our house over a fruit comparison. This is my house too. My name is on that mortgage. You can't just kick me out. His expression doesn't change, but something flickers in his eyes. Hurt, maybe, or disappointment, or something deeper that I don't want to look at too closely. Something that makes me feel sick. No, he says simply quietly, with this devastating finality. I'm not kicking you out over fruit. I'm kicking you out over disrespect. Over months of disrespect. Over months of insults disguised as jokes. Over months of you making me feel ugly and old and worthless and acting like it's all just harmless fun. Over you mocking me to my face and behind my back and on social media and to your friends and family. Over you treating me like garbage and expecting me to smile about it. I start, but he cuts me off. Pick a banana, he says, gesturing to the table. Go ahead, I want to know. Which one am I? The fresh one you wish I still was? The spotted one I'm becoming? The rotten one you see when you look at me? Pick one. Show me exactly what you think of me. I can't move. I can't speak. Neighbors are starting to peek through their blinds now. I can see Mrs. Chen across the street, pretending to water her already wet plants, while obviously watching our doorway, her hose pointed at the same bush she's been watering for 5 minutes. The teenage boy next door, Tyler, is sitting on his porch with his phone out, might be filming for all I know, might be recording this whole thing to post on TikTok or show his friends. The couple 2 houses down has stopped their evening walk and is standing on the sidewalk, obviously staring, obviously listening. Everyone can see me standing on our porch, in my expensive dress and heels that I spent 2 hours getting ready in, holding a grocery bag full of fruit like the world's most idiotic street vendor, like I've lost my mind. Can we please just talk about this inside? I hiss, trying to keep my voice down now, trying to salvage some dignity, trying to prevent this from becoming neighborhood gossip for the next month. Everyone can see us. Everyone can hear us. This is humiliating. Then they can see what happens when you treat someone like garbage, he says. And there's finally some emotion in his voice now, finally some heat, finally some pain breaking through that terrifying calm. When you mock them to their face and behind their back and on social media and to your friends and family, when you make them feel ugly and old and worthless every single day, when you chip away at their self-esteem, joke by joke by joke, until there's nothing left, let them see. Let them witness what disrespect looks like when it finally has consequences. I never said you were worthless. You didn't have to. The banana said it for you, every single time, every single banana joke, every single comment about aging, every single comparison to other men, every single time you looked at me with disappointment in your eyes. The message was clear. I snapped then, my own hurt feelings surging up, because yes, I have hurt feelings. I'm the one being kicked out here. I'm the one being humiliated in front of the whole neighborhood. Fine, fine. You want me to leave? I'll leave. And you're going to feel really stupid when you realize what you've done. You're going to feel really stupid when you're sitting here alone in this house with your precious bananas. When you don't have anyone to cook for you or clean for you or do your laundry or plan your life. When you realize how good you had it, I storm past him onto the porch, my heels clicking angrily on the wood, the dress swishing around my legs. He doesn't follow, doesn't try to stop me, doesn't call me back, just watches me go with that same blank expression. I turn back one more time from the porch steps. You're going to regret this. This is the most childish, ridiculous, immature response to a joke I've ever seen in my life. You're acting like a child, like a baby who can't handle reality. He starts to close the door, then pauses, and for a moment I think he's going to apologize, going to come to his senses, going to let me back in. Instead, he says, "Enjoy your fresh start. Hope you find someone ripe enough for you." Then he closes the door. The door shuts with a soft, final click that sounds like the end of something. The lock turns. I hear the deadbolt slide into place, and I'm standing outside my own house, holding a bag of fruit in a dress that cost $200, with nowhere to go and no plan, and the whole neighborhood watching. My humiliation is complete, absolute, total.